Do you know that negative emotion, negative feeling, and secret sin can lose its power when it is exposed? You may want to ask me, expose? What do you mean by exposed, Essie? Are you trying to tell me that I should tell everyone what I am going through? No, that's not what I meant. I mean that exposing it to the atmosphere of God. You are welcome to the Journey of Hope with Essie. Here at the Journey of Hope with Essie, we believe in turning the trauma into something beautiful that other people can benefit from. Like I will always tell my story on this channel. I was sexually abused at the age of 7, and today I'm using that platform to encourage people around the world that you being sexually abused is not the end of life. So, our topic for today is exposed. And our inspiration is the woman with the issue of blood. We may not read the word from the start to finish, but we are looking at the book of Mark chapter 5 verse 25 to 34. And a certain woman who went through the issue of blood spent so much money on physicians who could not give her a solution. And suddenly, she heard of a man who can do something great for her. And she decided to take her chances and she got healed. When she got to Jesus, she said to herself, if I could only touch the hem of his garment. When she eventually did, what happened? She was healed. And Jesus turned back and said, who touched me? And everyone was surprised because the crowd was on Jesus. And Jesus said, no, virtue has left me. And the woman came out and said, I was the one who touched you. And Jesus said, your faith has made you whole. Go into undisturbed peace because your faith has made you whole. The woman with the issue of blood is a very common case in our life, in our modern day world. You may say, why are you comparing me with a woman with the issue of blood? I don't have blood flowing out of my body every now and then. That's not what I'm saying. I am trying to tell you, the woman with the issue of blood represents that situation in our lives that refuses to go. I'm talking about the situation that has been there for years, that has become stuck in our throat. I'm talking about the secret sin that doesn't want to leave you, and you also are not ready to live it. That is what the issue of blood represents in our lives, okay? So, what can we learn from the woman with the issue of blood? We saw a woman who had belief, who believed in God. Let's try to be as real as possible. How do you hear about a certain man who has healed people and you just have to believe that if I touch the hem of his garment, I will be safe? That is one thing we can learn from the woman. She had belief. So I want to encourage you today, in that situation that you feel that you have no hope, in that secret sin you are committing that you feel like it can never work, it is not possible, the Lord is saying to you today, expose it to me. You may want to ask, have I not been praying before? What do I need to expose it for? Sometimes exposure is beyond prayer. Exposing something to the very presence of God is coming real just as you are. You know, for a lot of persons, prayer can become a routine. Prayer can become a poetry. It can become something you religiously do. But when you come as you are, it's a different situation. Do you know what it means for you to come to God and say these words to God? God, I'm involved in pornography. I do not think I can make it. I have tried. I've been masturbating for years. Can you make something out of me? That is an honest plea for freedom. People do not know that they can expose it. In that same room where you cry for the pain that you've been through for years, when we want to really cry over our sorrowful moment, we make sure nobody's watching us. And if somebody mistakenly bump into the room where we're having those emotional, sorrowful moments, we will want to wipe our face immediately so that we will not be caught emotional. God is saying, you can transform that silent, quiet moment in your room. You can transform it into the place of exposure. God is saying, just like the woman with the issue of blood, bring it forth to me. In the Christian world today, some of the religious folks have made us realize that we have to put up a certain makeover before we come to our God. But no, God enjoys it when you come just as you are. I dare to tell you that God likes it when you are done trying so that He can be the hero of the story. That's the person of God. For how many years of my life dealing with several challenges, I've realized that God prefers to be the hero of the story. So why not give Him a chance? Why trying to fix you? Why trying to hide it? The evil thrives in the hiding. The pain thrives in the hiding. But when you expose it to God, it loses its power. Another thing we can learn from the woman with the issue of blood is that she was determined. For some persons, by the time you say it in your room, okay, Journey of Hope with SSA, talk about it, and you talk about it once and you don't see something happening, you give up. You just give up just like that. But the Bible said that the woman was so determined. I want you to imagine that it is very possible in that day where the crowd was with Jesus, 2,000 persons were there, and they had mixed persons because they were female and they were male. Now let's focus on the males, for example. Let's focus on the males. The males were muscular in nature. They were strong. They have everything put together. My question is, how did this woman went through the crowd of muscular men to touch the hem of His garment? It takes some high-level determination to achieve that. How willing are you? How determined are you to get to Jesus? That woman was determined to end it all. How determined are you to get to Jesus? Jesus is calling you. How determined are you to get to Jesus? Brethren, Jesus is calling you. He's calling you to emotional healing. He's calling you. He's telling you that I know how you feel. I know that blood has been flowing for years. I know how you feel. And He's saying, I can take care of it. I can fix it. If there was something about the woman with the issue of blood, is that she never cared how she looked. She was just willing to get to Jesus. Can I tell you something? Dare to come to Jesus. It doesn't matter what the religious folk says. It doesn't matter what your pastor said. It doesn't matter what the over righteous people say. Dare to come to Jesus. He has been waiting on you. Dare to come to Jesus. Be like the woman with the issue of blood and say to yourself, I am going to Jesus regardless of how I'm looking. I'm going to Jesus with my raggedy clothes. I'm going to Jesus with my rags. I'm going to Jesus with my dirty nature. I am going to Jesus regardless. Jesus is calling you today. Jesus wants you to know that the pornography can be exposed. Jesus wants you to know that the masturbation can be exposed. Jesus wants you to know that you can talk to Him about the deepest feelings you have. I used to have the feeling of jealousy. Sometimes I still struggle with the feeling of bitterness. I literally had to sit in my room one day and tell the Lord, God, Essie is jealous. There were 3 ladies that I was jealous of. I noticed that when I see them, I always want to compete with them internally. Internally, I always wanted to compete. The day I exposed that feeling to Jesus because it was becoming a burden for me, the day I exposed the feeling to Jesus, I realized the devil was putting a front of the spirit of jealousy. But in reality, what really was happening to me was the devil was depositing the seed of a low self-esteem. So he wanted me to focus on the strength of those ladies, to see what I don't have that they have. In return, feel bad about myself. But when I expose it to God, let me tell you what exposure really is. Exposure actually means I am a sinner. God the Father, I am a prostitute. Do not be ashamed. So I did that day and I said, Father, I am jealous. Mind you, when I was saying to God that I was jealous, I was speaking in tongues. I do all sorts of things in church. I was worshiping and I'm always in the spirit, but I was having the spirit of jealousy. Your long time of being in church doesn't change anything. For the fact that you've been in church for years, it doesn't mean you don't have a secret sin. Till you expose it to the Lord, nothing can change. I hope this message blessed you. I hope your life was turned around. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that when we have a new post, you will be the first to receive the notification. Please do not forget to like and comment and also share. Also, please, if you have questions, you can put it down there. Do well to share the video because you do not know the person that you will bless by doing that. Watch out for the next episode of Exposed.